Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a Paragon Guide. I am Sylphan, and in this video we are taking a beginner's approach to the skills, strategies, and starter decks of Gadget. So ladies and gentlemen, start your game by opening the selected deck screen. We are going for the starter deck caster energy damage. If you're picking Gadget, she is certainly better as a caster. So simply confirm that deck and make sure that you toggle off suggestions so that you are taking a look at all of the cards available to us. Just so happens we are following what the game suggests with a health, a mana, and a scout's ward. Gadget is a great laner, so we simply have to decide what lane we want to go for, and that Twin Blast can certainly do a better job in lane than this Rampage can. So we will go and try to relieve him so he can go in the jungle. So ladies and gentlemen, Gadget is a great caster hero that is very much able to do a lot of energy damage from quite a far distance. She's a great harass hero, but can brawl with them all, so she's a really good hero. The very first ability we are going here is the Sticky Mine. Attaches to units for 4.5 seconds, then deals 100 energy damage. So it also sticks to allies, though. So there is some consideration that you need to do in order to kind of, consider what you're going to, place the ability on, how you're going to use it, because there is a multitude of strategies that you can certainly use with that ability. So you can, for example, put it on yourself, you can put it on the enemy, you can put it on a minion. There's a lot of stuff that you can do, and it really all just depends on on the situation. So right here, I'm placing it on the lane minions, just so that I can, focus on getting these last hits a little bit and trying to, there we go, get some more card power. I definitely suggest that you try to get these last hits as much as possible, because it is very, very powerful. So here is, you just saw there, the second ability that we have as Gadget. It is actually called Seek and Destroy, and it is an okay ability. Either that is okay from my own personal skill level, but it's okay. It's called Seek and Destroy. Your right click, it deals 100 energy damage over 3 seconds while applying a 133 max movement speed slope. The mechanic of how it works is quite difficult to land with any kind of precision. So as you saw there, you throw out this kind of little bot that flies around, and right there you can see it didn't actually really do anything there on that Muriel. It takes a moment to set up. It takes a moment for the slow to kick in, and the damage, since it is over 3 seconds and it does deal only 100, it isn't the most reliable source of damage. But when you throw it in there, along with the other abilities that she has, it does do a good job. So right here, that is a example there where you are able to zone the enemy, put it behind that Grim, and forcing him to walk through it, forcing him to walk through that damage. Yeah, so I'm actually going to showcase the last ability we went for is that sparkling laser that you see there. It's her E ability. It's called Speed Gate. Gives allies a 240 max movement speed boost for 3.5 seconds and deals 50 energy damage. So as you can see there, I tried to put it there to allow that Rampage to get out quicker from that Grex, but he just left. All right. One thing you really need to pay attention with all of her abilities is some of them have, well, only her right click, pardon me, has a reactive reactivate command. So when you throw out your right click at Seek and Destroy, you can actually reactivate it so that it starts that damage a little bit earlier. So this Twin Blast is simply done for. I'm going to try to land that. Yeah, there you go. Lands on that Gideon, forcing him back. We really need some mana. We do need to go back, but I don't want to leave our tower undefended. So her ultimate we unlocked at level 5. It is a phenomenal ultimate, capable of dealing a lot of damage. So what does it do? It is a dome of energy. It's called the Tesla Dome. It deals 450 energy damage over 6 seconds to all enemies in the area. If you have another hero in your team that is capable of doing another AoE ultimate, her ultimate really works well with them. It deals a lot of damage. If you can place it in a way that forces the enemy to walk through a majority of it, it is really powerful because it deals so much damage. Finally, we have 9 card power, and we are able to go back. So the very first card that we need is something that is very important, the Magus Ward. We noticed that I didn't actually end up putting down my Scout's Ward, but you want to have an upgraded, you wanted a upgraded Vision Ward than this one. These don't go invisible when you place them, but these Shadow Wards do. So the Magus Ward gives us bonus damage and some mana, as you can see here, for a really great card here in the early game. So this Magus Ward, gives us a ward there that you can see goes invisible. That gives us, oh goodness. So I'm going to answer with my own ultimate, whose ultimate does more damage. Looks like it is ours, along with that Twin Blast. So there you go. You can see that dome right here that was surrounding us, dealing that damage. A very powerful ultimate that, if you can use it properly, can really change the course of a battle. So here in the early game, Gadget is a great lane bully, a great lane pusher. With that ward, you can see there on the minimap, right off to the side, giving us vision of this entire area, really enabling us to push this far because we can see if any enemy is coming in. Now, one thing that I didn't mention with the E, with your speed gate, is that it also affects minions. So you can use it to really heavily use it to... Oh, that did land on the Gideon, and there is a little bit of damage there. There you go. You heard the ward go off, telling us that there's an enemy coming, and that rampage, I don't know if be able to survive and no. So here's a showcase of this speed gate here, giving us some speed so we can safely get away. Remember that your right click also deals a slow to the enemy, so that is also a tool you can use to escape from the enemy. 3 card points. We are going into our next card. You probably noticed that we are running out of mana, and casters have an issue with mana here in the early game, and that's why we need this Wellspring Staff. As you can see, it has 2 2-point mana upgrades on it, so simply equip this, and we're going straight, into these 2 2-point mana upgrades. So, is there any combination with Gadget that works, that really synergizes with her abilities? Not particularly. Your right click does have that slow, but it is hard to use on the enemy. So, you can do a right click into a Q to kind of help enable your mine to stick to the enemy. So there is that, but it really isn't much synergy between her skills. She simply does damage, does a little bit of utility there in your right click and your E for your allies, but otherwise doesn't really have much of a combo. Always, ladies and gentlemen, upgrading your ultimate as much as possible, simply because that is much more valuable than upgrading another skill. In terms of skill priorities, I might have mentioned already, focusing on our Q, followed by our right click, and then our E ability. Simply just because that ally movement speed bonus and the tiny little damage that the E does really doesn't affect too much here in the game. Trying to push down this tower using our abilities here. We do have that mana now, so we're able to do quite a bit of damage here. I'm actually going to put this gate here to do some damage. As you can see, not really that much against even these minions here. This Gideon, look how far you can throw out the mine there. Really, really great poke potential on Gadget. Oh, but look at this. We're going to have to do this. I'm going to use my ultimate here. Try to just pressure that Grux a little bit. Not the best use of that ultimate, but I really had to get away. I'm going to throw out my mine, see if it sticks on that Grux, and it does. Is that enough to kill him? I don't think so. No, not quite just yet. That mine becomes a very, very powerful ability very quickly. 6 card power, ladies and gentlemen, able to get most of these upgrades. We're going to go with the major cast and this mana just because I want to use as much of that card power here as possible. The fully upgraded bonuses are nice here in the early game simply because it gives you that little bit of a reward for completing those cards. So one really good thing that that Gadget does well is zoning the enemy from afar. She can really send a lot of her abilities very, very far forward. So simply trying to stay in the background, doing as much damage as you can from really quite a far ways is really kind of what she's really good at. Look how far that right click went, kind of poking down all of those enemies way in the background over there. And you can just compare that to her range of her ultimate. Look how far she can send that, not very far. So this Gideon here this Grux, sorry, has to be very careful. I did land that right click. Looks like that is going to enable a kill there on that Grux again. Just poking down the enemy with those very long range abilities. She really has some of the farthest abilities, I think, out of anybody. Look at that, going to be able to get on that Muriel. We're going to try to slow her down here with the right click. Am I able to get the kill there? I am. So just using those abilities from really far ranges, really able to make stuff happen here. I think, you know, she is really much more powerful than I think a lot of people give credit for. Casters have been suffering recently, so they have been buffed, and I think they're really coming back. She really shouldn't be underestimated. Here's this Gideon. I'm going to use this speed gate. Something that they did improve is the activation time of that ability. It used to take a significant amount of time to actually go off. And I'm going to actually use my ultimate here to force the kill here on this Grux. Simply running back to that Sparrow getting caught too. Oh, and I managed to get her as well. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to throw out that mine. Does it stick on Gideon? No, not quite. Wasted 2 abilities there. As you can see, with that mana that we got from the first Wellspring Staff, able to stay in these engagements for a very long time. A 10 card power. And very good sustain here in the middle game. 10 card power, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to really enable us to finish off this Wellspring Staff and go into a very strong card for Gadget, this Pendulum of Lords. Now, this gives us a ton of cooldown reduction, which is going to make us able to spend our abilities faster. That's going to highly increase her damage output, and something that is very, very good on Gadget for sure. I would like the starter build to have more cooldown reduction, but it simply doesn't have it, so we have to work with what's given to us. So here's this engagement coming up as Gideon. Shouldn't have done that though, because I can simply use my ultimate here to not end up doing very much actually, but as you can see my Q actually landed on that Grim, forcing him to go back. So let's see if I can actually throw out my mine on him. No, not quite. I did the smart thing and went way out. Always make sure, ladies and gentlemen, put out your wards. Vision is oh so very, very important. You can put it either right in the middle or off to the enemy's side. Another good technique actually is to have it open and then actually jump across here and put it on top of this cliff right there. That keeps it nice and safe from any enemy counter boarding. Looks like we'll be able to get this tower no problem. Gadget's wave clear now will be very strong with simply a right click and maybe even one Q to be able to get a lot of damage off on a lane wave and just keep it going. 3 card power from taking down that tower on the right side, able to complete this Pendulum of Lords with that health. And that health is actually going to be surprisingly useful here in the mid game. 17.5% cooldown reduction, a fairly significant amount, and going to set us up really nicely for our next card here. We almost have 3 more card power, so gonna definitely have that nicely. Gadget is, like I've been saying, a good lane presence, a good lane bully, so being able to split push, as in push down a lane while your friendly team is, you know, off doing a team fight or off forcing down another lane. Gadget's going to be very powerful here for clearing out these lanes and pushing these back. So I can highly pressure out this Sparrow, but looks like she chose to go into a jungle. There she is. Gotta be careful from her damage. She does do fairly good amount of damage here. Oh, she did stay in that right click. I'll be able to land my Q, and that is a dead, very dead Sparrow. As you can see, Gadget does do quite a good amount of damage, ladies and gentlemen. Played correctly, she can be quite a big force. So, as I was just saying, something Gadget's very good at, clearing a lane and pushing down a tower like this. She's very, very strong. As you can see, that one right click did a significant amount of damage here to this lane wave, and she's really quite powerful this way. Now, once you have done split pushing here, definitely go and join your team back, create a numbers advantage for, again, another split push opportunity. 7 card power, ladies and gentlemen, going into the next card here. Now, we just finished off getting some cooldown reduction. We did get some mana before that, so we can really focus on some damage. Now, this Staff of the Adamant here one has all damage, and the other one actually has a little bit of health. Now, as I just said that we're going for all damage, however, health is a little bit important. Here's damage is really going to start flying across the battlefield, so we need to account for that. All damage builds have been nerfed. Having a more balanced build is actually a little bit more advantageous currently. So we're going to actually focus on the little bit of health here on this Staff of the Adamant, get that health, 2-point health upgrade here. So 4 card points, getting this cast and health, give us a nice boost of some damage and health as well. So with this extra health and damage, what can we do here to the Sparrow? Let's see. I'm going to actually... Ooh, our mine didn't actually connect with her, and she did a good job of going the other way from our ultimate, but looks like my aggression was not well placed. But look at that. I get the last say with that mine, and she is kaput. Just like that. So I was absolutely hyper aggressive, ladies and gentlemen. I was fairly sure of myself. As you can see, I maybe thought that I should have done a little bit better than I actually did. But again, I had a lane minion wave on me the whole time, so taking quite a bit of damage, and but was able to secure the kill. So just a showcase here of, in the late mid game here, what we're able to do, with Gadget. 6 card power, ladies and gentlemen, from rotating mid lane to be a part of a team fight there. 6 card power, able to finish off this Staff of the Adamant, 52 extra energy damage, and 300 health. Nice boost. We're actually going to continue that health train just because we are very squishy and we want to be a little bit more of a presence here in these team fights, and you know, maybe throw our body around a little bit. So we're going to go for this Elder Mage Amulet. We have a fair amount of mana, and we are still squishy. We are going to get some health from here, so I'm going to do... It's really depending on your game. If you're running out of mana a lot, if you have a really strong front line that's really, you know, soaking up all the damage, so you can afford to lose a health potion. I myself am going to try to do a better job of staying back, throwing out those long range abilities. So I'm going to actually focus on this mana potion so that I can, you know, throw out more spells. Check out this push, ladies and gentlemen, all the way up to the inhibitor on the left-hand side, simply due to that sustain, that health, that huge mana pool and mana potion that we still have, able to just stay in the fight, do a ton of damage from afar. We have 7 card points. We're going to further increase that sustain in these fights with these more health. 700 more health here on this Elder Mage Amulet, and 26 energy damage. Keeping that energy damage going, always wanting to try to increase our damage that we do here in these battles. So now we are going to see just the sustain here. I'm going to have to give this Twin Blast a speed boost if he needs it, and yes, we're going to be able to throw out our abilities quite quickly here, trying to stay back a little bit, trying to throw out this mine here. Does that stick on the Muriel? Doesn't look like it. Trying my right click to try. Oh, it did stick on the Gideon there, and this Muriel has to be careful here. So does this Gideon. Oh, look at that. So as you can see, we're doing quite a bit. Look at the minimal damage we took from that during that whole engagement there. Definitely very powerful, ladies and gentlemen. So this Gideon needs to be careful here. I actually should have tried to stick that oh, can I get the speed boost? Barely able to get that speed boost to get out of there. Save myself from that Gideon ultimate. As you can see, we have 3,000 health. That is a lot, but it still doesn't reduce how much damage you take. You can just take more of it. Something I always recommend, ladies and gentlemen, is whenever you are heading to the middle of the map, or any really past these harvesters, simply drop by, get them very quickly, because you don't want them to be full and then miss out on any card power you could have gotten. So again here, let's keep throwing out these long range abilities here. See what we can do. Let's use our ultimate here. Force this Gideon to really be careful. I'm going to die here a little bit. Let's see, does he have his teleport? Doesn't look like it. So now I am really committed here to this engagement here. Let's use our speed gate to get away from the Sparrow a little bit. So we did a good job with that Gideon. Still lots of health, lots of mana. But now we have to play the long game here with the Sparrow. Do I land it? No, I don't. Is she able to get out of that? Oh, she does take a lot of damage from my right click though, and looks like we can get this kill as well. Scruggs is coming back. Definitely need to get a split push going, because if you aren't destroying the towers, ladies and gentlemen, we won't win the game. 9 card powered, ladies and gentlemen, able to use our incredible pushing power to push down that right lane. We get to finish off the build here, ladies and gentlemen, and we have some options, to be honest. The next card I would go for here, we have a lot of mana, really, we do. We have a lot of sustain, so going for this Staff of the Adamant here is going to give us just 100 health, not that much, but all of that damage. The other option we do have is this Wellspring Staff for that little bit of mana. Again, 175 is such a small amount here that I would simply just, pick this health. I feel like that, I might as well get a little bit more in the stuff that I actually need here, so we can do that. Staff of the Adamant, fully upgraded for all of that damage. There is another option, ladies and gentlemen, that we will discuss later on, but we'll have to see if that arises. So here is another example, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, let's use our own ultimate. Oh, I didn't want to stand in Gideon's ultimate, though. Look at that. That's a really good way to deal with a Gideon as a gadget. So trying to use our abilities from long ranges here, trying to do all of that damage that we know we can do. We have a ton of it now, so simply just throwing out our abilities here, trying to do as much damage, trying to get down this inhibitor as fast as we can. Once this is down, we will have a very nice advantage here over the enemy team, as this will start getting pushed by super minions. So it looks like our howitzer is in trouble. He went the wrong way here. Simply cannot help him. And one thing that you can do, ladies and gentlemen, is actually put your mine on yourself and then stand in between the melee and the ranged minions. That makes it so that the whole area of effect is, actually damages the whole wave. Otherwise, if you simply put it on the back part of the wave or the front part of the wave, I'm not sure what this rampage is doing, then it won't damage the whole thing. So here is another showcase here. I'm gonna put it on myself and stand right in between the melee here and the range, and look at that. It takes out the whole wave at once. So, ladies and gentlemen, able to force down this left lane, kill the inhibitor, and now you're really going to see the long-range potential of Gadget. Because if you go anywhere inside or nearby these minions and you damage the hero, all of the minions will actually turn around and actually damage you. So if you want 3 lanes worth of minions on you, don't get close and damage the heroes. So with her Q, with her right click, we'll be able to be way far away from the minions, and we'll be able to still do damage. So here, let's join in here on this fight right here. Let's take this Rux. Yeah, we should be able to. Not a problem. Don't even need my Q here. There is that Brooks. Should be able to take down this Muriel as well. 4-on-1. Certainly would hope so. So here we go. Have a strong push here in the right lane. Gonna push down this final inhibitor. We've been able to a very good job, ladies and gentlemen, of split pushing. She is a fantastic split push hero with her escape in her E. That gives you a big speed boost with this slow in your right click, and just the power of her ultimate. It's definitely nothing to be. You have to take her ultimate pretty seriously. Using all of that, you have a pretty good presence there, especially since we have that vision on our Lord's Ward that enables us to, see if any enemies are coming. You can split push very effectively and very safe on Gadget. Here we go. Very nice takedown of this inhibitor, and the enemy is definitely going to go down. So using these long range abilities, using that our ultimate to clear these minion waves once there gets to be a whole bunch of them. We're going to throw all of these abilities out here. I'm going to have to be careful here. I'm going to use my ultimate in case I die before I get the chance. Look at all that damage. Look at all of that card power coming from destroying all of those minions. We're simply going to have to go back, ladies and gentlemen. Play it safe. I always recommend do the smart thing. Play it safe. Don't give the enemy team the time, the free safe time from your death and your death timer, and of course that card power and numbers advantage. Don't do it. Play it safe. Go back. Get your health. So we are back here on the core. I'm simply throwing out my mine here, trying to throw out my right click there way in the back. Look at that, actually managed to get it there on that Gideon, on all of those enemies there that are hiding in the back lane. Trying not to get too close to these minions just because they do a lot of damage. Throw out my ultimate there on the core, kill all of those minions, make sure that our minions are able to do the kill there. Very nice pull on this Grux, able to throw out my right click there, slow him. So much is happening. Look at all this damage on the core. I'm gonna actually use a speed gate here to help speed up our teammates for going in there. Throw my Q, throw my right click there, slow down that Muriel, do just a little bit of damage. As you can see, all these abilities certainly are able to take them down. Let's throw this mine out on this Grux. See, it did land on him. It's really hard to see. There you go. The moment that I attacked that Grux, all of the minions really turned to me and attacked me. So once again, just look at all these abilities we're throwing out on those minions, throwing a right click there on. Oh, and I actually did manage to hit that Grim and Sparrow. You need a very delicate balance here. I'm going to try to get into this. Ooh, just get out of that. I'm going to use my ultimate here to help finish off that Grux. There is that damage. But look at that health, ladies and gentlemen. That health is really, really, really helping us here survive just a lot. We were there and on that core for a very long time. 11% should be able to take it on no problem. Twin Blast and Rampage should be able to finish it off. Unbelievably, the core is still alive. Let's finish it off with this ultimate. Few basic attacks. Throw out our abilities for the heck of it. And there is victory. Very surprised by this build. That mana is very, very important there in the mid-game there, especially here in the late game. Able us to simply just be around. You need to stick around. If you're not around to do that damage that you're supposed to do, and that crowd control that you have, then there's no real point of doing anything. So we started off with this Mage's Ward to give us that damage, and a little bit of mana there in the early game really, really helps. This Wellspring Staff with the 2 mana upgrades, that is the key here in the early game to set you up for the rest of the game. With all of that mana now, you can certainly afford to spend your abilities quicker. So we get here this cooldown reduction in the Pendulum of Lords. Would like to have more of it, but the build simply doesn't have it. This Staff of the Adamant gives us that very much needed damage, but a little bit of health as well, which we have to focus on. Can't forget about that health. Elder Mage Amulet for 700 health, and that other Staff of the Adamant for crazy ton of damage in the late game. We didn't actually end up doing it, but once you have 2 of the inhibitors down, you certainly can use that other Wellspring Staff to replace that Lord's Ward. You don't need the vision, right, because the enemy is stuck they're stuck in their base, but you would be giving up some mana for increased damage. I mean, they're in the late game. It's really probably not going to matter that much. Probably want that damage, so you can go ahead and do that as well. That is the guide, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you found this beginner's approach to the starter decks helpful. The suggestions, I don't find them all that great, so through my experience, this carding this deck this way will be better for sure. If you liked the video, like it. If you disliked it, dislike it. Leave a comment down in the section of what you think. Was this helpful? If you disliked the video, why did you dislike it? Please subscribe. If you like this video, if you found it useful, please subscribe. I want to do it for you in the future. All of that social media stuff coming up on the next screen. So till next time, like always, take care.